Yeah, I'm just going to quickly grab myself a YouTube link as well, so that I can answer all your questions as they come in on there, and then we are good to go, everybody. Okay, brilliant. Looks like YouTube is up. So if you have questions in YouTube, please do pop them into the chat. I will answer them when I can. Likewise for Zoom and for Discord. So if you have any other questions, please do feel free to ask them, but I will not answer them until the end of this session. So getting into it, welcome to this Bookmap onboarding session with me, DanP. We run these 3 times a week. You've got me, obviously, right now, which is the 8 AM EST session on a Monday. We've got Brandon at 4 PM EST on a Wednesday, so that's market close. And then we've got Bruce at 1 PM on a Friday. So if you are, if there's a time session that's better for you to attend for this one, please do just feel free to register for one of our later sessions in the week. We obviously run them 3 times a week, so we can cover as many times that you all are able to join whenever you need to. No, it didn't. There we go. Brilliant. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I've got some slightly dodgy headphones. So I can see Mr. Pakistani is typing. If that's a question, I will try and answer it at the end. Your voice has some issues. Okay. Let me try and reset that on this Discord for 1 second. Is that any better? Is that any better, Mr. Pakistani? Yes. Okay, brilliant. So I've got that on your voice. Okay, thanks. I've just changed my microphone, so I'm just double checking that it works. Is this one any better for you? Yes, better. Brilliant. Okay, thanks very much for the feedback there, mate. Okay, so we're going to get started into this onboarding session now. So the first step that we need to do is log into bookmap.com and view our details. So we do that by heading to www.bookmap.com, heading to the top right up here and pressing log in. So you can either press log in up here, or you can press start for free if you do not currently have a Bookmap subscription. But once you have started for free or signed in, you are able to view the Bookmap portal. From here, you can obtain your Bookmap license key, which we've blacked out here just to make sure that you are able to view your own rather than taking one from here, because it may be a bit confusing. And you're also able to download Bookmap. So when we're downloading Bookmap, we need to select the system that's most appropriate for us. So I'm currently a Windows user, so obviously I'll use the Windows install. However, we do have a Mac Intel and a Mac M1, M2 link for you to use. There is also a Linux version. So whatever system you use, you can select that from there. And then we also need to select the version that we're using. So Bookmap has 3 different versions. We run an alpha, a beta, and a production level version. Production will be the least bug-free, will be the most bug-free and the most functionally stable to use. Beta will include a few different functionalities that we are testing at the moment or improving, and so might be slightly bugged, but obviously it's a beta environment, they're not ready for production level use. And then alpha is 1 stage above that, that's where we're testing really new features. I would highly recommend sticking with production or at the most beta, as alpha level functionality is not going to be supported in immediate future, and so you would be more bug testing if you were running on that. But also, we're on our first session, so let's just go with production. Once you've selected your system and the version that you want to use, press download, and you'll be able to download the installation wizard. While that's downloading, we're going to add a data subscription, which we can do from the Bookmap portal here by pressing add subscription. If you are not logged in and you navigate to the add subscription window, you will only be able to view core subscriptions for the start of your subscription process. So you can see here that we've got the Digital Plus monthly and annual costs, we've got our Global Plus and our Global Plus lifetime down at the bottom. Unfortunately, you've all missed the end of year sales, which I hope some of you at least took advantage of. It was the first time that we had offered Global Plus lifetime at a discounted rate, and there was also some great sales for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Once you are logged in, however, you will be able to view the different data subscriptions. To run Bookmap, you need a core subscription and a data subscription, unless you are trading crypto futures, in which case you only need a core subscription. Crypto data is free within Bookmap, however, if you would like to view index futures, currency futures, or stocks, you will need to purchase a data subscription. We have a variety of different data packages for you. So the first off is the CME bundle, which contains CME, CBOT, NYMEX and COMEX data, all for $79 each month. If you only trade indexes, such as the ES or NQ, then you're only going to need the CME data CME data, which is $17 for the first month and then $34 every month thereafter. If you trade interest rate products, such as the YM, you'll be looking at CBOT. For energy stocks, such as oil, gas, and nuclear, you'll be looking at NYMEX. And then for precious metals, such as gold and silver, it would be COMEX. All of those exchanges are $17 for the first month and then $34 each month thereafter. So if you trade more than two of these markets, you will be better off buying the CME bundle, and you'll be able to access all four of those for the cost of $79 each month, so about the cost of 2.5 of those markets. So yeah, if you're an all markets trader, definitely take advantage of that CME bundle. If not, look for which subscription is right for you. You can also always ask support@bookmap.com for a hand. If you're a stocks trader, then you may want to grab Bookmap Equities data with Nasdaq Total View and NLS, which is $29 for the first month and then $59 for each month thereafter. Or you can use DXFeed stocks data, which is for the full bundle with Nasdaq and EDGX, $59 for the first month and then $119 for each month thereafter. Or you can grab Nasdaq depth data, $69 each month, or EDGX depth data for $59 each, independently. Once we've picked our data subscription and got everything set up on that side, it is time to install and run Bookmap. Navigate to the installation window within your downloads folder. This is obviously for a Windows instruction. For Mac it will look slightly different, same for Linux. But just find that software installation wizard, double click it, and it will start the installation process. I'm not going to take you through the entire installation process, as I'm sure you've seen a software wizard before, so I am now just going to exit this presentation and load up Bookmap for myself. Just check everything's good on YouTube as well. Just for your question, Vin, for our trading, so how to put SL and TP manually on the replay. So I'm not going to be teaching trading functionality during this session, which I did mention at the start. If you'd like to learn something about that, what I would highly recommend doing is joining one of Bruce's sessions. He's not going to be presenting this week, as we are doing a retreat in Cyprus for corporate, for our Q1 meeting. So yeah, at the moment you will need to rejoin one of Bruce's sessions. You can also ask one of the other educators. There are other educators which use replay mode, which we're going to cover in a minute anyway. So on your first time opening Bookmap, you will be visited with the Bookmap Run Options window, which gives you the option of what mode you are going to open Bookmap in. We have simulation mode, which allows you to route all orders within our independent simulator. It will stay locked within the Bookmap platform. It does not need to be routed to your broker in any way, nor does it need to be connected. You have trading mode, where you're able to trade directly from the Bookmap chart. This will obviously require connecting to your broker, but you can connect that to a live funded account or to a paper trading account if you still wish to practice and develop as a trader. Lastly, we have a replay mode, where you're able to take files from the previous day's activity or any previous day's activity and replay them within Bookmap at the speed of your choosing. You get up to 64 speed if you'd like to go up, or you can even slow it down so that you can properly get into the order flow for a given day, or so that you are able to backtest something with data sets that you have obtained. The other options that we have here are load previously opened workspace. Obviously, as this is your first time installing Bookmap, we do not need to click that. However, what we should do is click record live data and record orders, so you are able to replay those files within the replay mode if ever you so choose. So I'm going to open this out in trading mode. I'm going to press OK, and that will contact Bookmap license server to check that my license is all correct. I actually had to renew my license this morning, so I'm very certain that it is correct for the moment. When you first open Bookmap with no connections, the connectivity configuration window should open up directly in front of you, but let's close it out just in case it doesn't. And we can view the instructions on screen for how to access the first instrument. So currently not connected to any platform. To run a new instrument, please follow the steps below. Configure market data and trading, click on connections configure and insert your credentials. Enable the connection and then click plus to open an instrument. So let's try that off first. We go to the connections tab in the top left, click configure, and we're given the connectivity configuration window. I'm going to add Bookmap data, and for that I need to add or remove a platform. So I'll click to add remove platforms, and this will show me all of the available connection platforms that I have installed, as well as those that I'm not able to install just yet. As you can see, we've got all of these installed up here, including DYDX, HitBTC, Huobi, etc., and KuCoin. We can go right to the bottom here, and we can see available for install. What we need to do is install that Bookmap data here, and as you see, it will start downloading the plugin for me and getting that ready to go. And see, it's okay, it's installed, ready to use. What we want to do now is close out that plugins manager window, and then we need to press add a connection. We press add a connection, head to the platform drop down window in the top right, scroll and find Bookmap Data, select Bookmap Data, and I'm going to leave the connection name as Bookmap Data, but you can do whatever you wish to for that. Just find it slightly easier when you're making these connections to keep them as normally named and sanely named as we can. When it comes to server location, so obviously we use the automatic feature. I'm based in Europe, so I would normally be connecting to a European server, but if you use a VPN or for whatever reason you wish to connect to a different server, you're able to select USA, Europe and Japan. For the price format, I'm going to leave it as default, and I'm not going to tick delayed market data for CME instruments, as I should have live data with my BMD subscription. Next, we're going to add a DXFeed connection. As DXFeed's already inbuilt within the platform, we just head up to that platform drop-down window again, select DXFeed. We'll leave the connection name as DXFeed. Credentials are not required to connect, and then we're going to press OK. But what I would like to do is add a final connection for just Binance, just to show you how it works. So there we go, add connection. Binance, being first in the list alphabetically, is the first chosen. And the connection name we're going to leave as Binance. I'm not going to enable trading because I'm not going to connect to a Binance account, and I'm not going to connect to a test or a demo market. I'm just going to leave all of those as I find them, and then we're going to press OK. Once we've set up those connections, we then need to enable them. Head back to the connections window and click through all of those connections that you have just set up. So Binance, Bookmap Data and DXFeed, and as we can see, it is now loading in those instruments for us. Next, once we're connected to all of these markets, we need to open our first instrument. To open an instrument, head to the plus icon in the top left, click it, and you'll be given the subscribe pop-up window. As I'd like to open the ES on Bookmap Data, I need to head to Platform, select Bookmap Data. For the type, it would be futures. Equally, if I wanted crypto, it would be perp or spot. But we're just going to go with futures. The exchange type is CME. That looks very odd. That should not be there. The exchange type is CME, and then the symbol is ESH6 for the spring for the Q1 contract for the ES index. Select that there. I'm only going to add 3 hours of local and historical cloud data. I'm going to go for a tick size of 0.25 and a size granularity of 1, and then we're going to press subscribe. As we can see, that starts to open up for us here. And we can see the day's activity starting to take place. We're just importing that data here, and there we are. We now have 3 hours of localized and cloud data available for the ES H6 contract, which is for the January contract for the ES index. We are now viewing the pro market activity. As you can see, there is liquidity waiting at 6916.5, as well as the halo effect that comes from that algo bot that occasionally plagues our markets. So we can see that just coming in here, as well as a nice chunk of liquidity at 6935 with 167 contracts waiting to transact. Next, let's open a crypto instrument. So rather than going through Binance, I'm going to keep with Bookmap Data, as we have this thing called Multibook, which allows you to view aggregated exchange data from across Binance, BitGet and Huobi. To access that, we keep the platform as Bookmap Data. The type then is perp for perpetual futures. The exchange is Multibook, and then the symbol is whichever crypto symbol that is supported that we would like to access. I'm going to go with BTC USDT as it's the most common instrument. For historical data, I'm only going to go with 1 hour of local and 1 hour of cloud, as I'm not currently going to be trading this, but as you can see, if you scroll to the bottom, you can get up to 7 days of local and 7 days of cloud data for these perpetual futures instruments. In terms of tick size, this is an over $90,000 instrument, I believe, at the moment, somewhere between 80 and 90. And so I'm going to go for a tick size of 50 and then a size granularity of 1. I'm just going to press subscribe. As we can see now, the BTC USDT perpetual futures market is opening up there. And while it says no data received, that is just because I am currently loading it all in. As we can see, it's loading in here. So we've got 1 hour of data just back there, and we can see that it is trading at 92,750. So it did see a spike over the weekend in response, somewhat in response, or I believe, to the activity over in Venezuela. But we can only ever speculate on these things. Lastly, let's open up a stock. So I'm going to go to that plus icon again, go for the platform, select DXFeed. Obviously the type is auto and the exchange is US, as that has already been set within the DXFeed connection. Symbol, I'm going to take NVIDIA common stock as it's quite a popular stock and I already have it typed in. In terms of historical data, we're going to go for 1 hour of local and 1 hour of cloud there as well. Then we're going to press subscribe. So you can see all of those events are now imported, and we can now see that NVIDIA is trading at 191.49 on the common stock, with a large band of liquidity up at 192 and a further larger band at 193. If we scroll all the way out, I'm sure we'll see, yep, a huge band up at 200 for the psychological number level. And that is it, everyone. We have now opened up a index, a crypto future, and a stock, all within the Bookmap platform, and you are now able to access that data and trade them. Let's head back to our presentation. So we've connected to data and added our symbols, and now it's time to quickly discuss the resources available to you as a Bookmap user. First off, we have the Learning Center, which you can access by going to bookmap.com. And clicking the Education tab just at the top here. That will take you to our Learning Center. Obviously this might be slightly slower than it would be on your system, just as I'm running many different programs at once at the moment to stream this out to as many locations as possible. My screen is stuck, thank you. Apologies, I have not been checking the Discord, I've only been checking the Zoom, which appears to be is working fine. I will just drop this link into YouTube, this YouTube link as well, so that you can watch the recorded presentation, should you so need. There we are, Discord. Apologies for that one. But we are now back on this window at least. Okay, so back in the Learning Center, we've got a variety of different courses able for you to pick up, such as our strategies and setups courses here, and our markets mechanic courses, as well as our calendar of live events, which appears not to have loaded incorrectly for some reason. I will have to double check with our developers as to why that has not loaded incorrectly. There we are. Must just be something with my system. So we can see that we've got the Getting Started courses with Bookmap. So you've got how to get started with Bookmap. This will effectively cover what we have just been through, how to connect your first instrument, how to connect your broker. We have our Understanding Order Flow courses, so the 4 lessons on market mechanics and then the order flow phenomena courses are very good for new traders if you're looking to understand how to best utilize the heat map data. And then we have our strategies and setups courses from our educators, such as supply and demand setups with Bruce, VWAP and AVWAP mastery with Robert Rother, futures and stocks with JTrader, options with Brandon, 0DT strategies, and our setups and strategies course. If you scroll through down to the bottom, you'll then also find our event calendar, where you're able to select the events that are going on each day and register for them via our Discord, which obviously we are taking this session in at the moment, so apologise to those of you that did not get the Bookmap view on the Discord. I'll double check why that was at the end of this session. But as mentioned, if you'd like to click that YouTube video, you can replay this session at any time. It is completely recorded. So today we have Charles, who is taking his session just after this, so in about 35 minutes. We've got Everton for our Portuguese markets and Portuguese traders. We've got Tom B for the Traders Lab at 4:30 my time, which is UTC, or at 11:30 EST. And then we've got Doug Marder in German. We've got Spanglish Trades in Spanish. And then for our last session of the day, we have cryptocurrencies with Dharma Capital Trading with Spencer. We also have a knowledge base, which you can access up at the top here. If you just head to to knowledge. We've got the knowledge base here, which is a vertical guide format of all of this information that is on the Learning Center if you prefer to read rather than watch videos. And lastly, we have our symbols table, which is how you can work out what contract you are inputting for this month's contract. As you can see here, we've got the notation example. ES May 2022 would be ES. This pop-up window happens every time. Which would be ESU2. So we can see we've got the U month codes, and then the contract year would have been 2022. At the moment we are on ESH6 for the ES indexes. Lastly, if you'd like to join our Discord, which this session is also being held on at the moment, you can head to Community and click Discord to join our Discord chat. Once joined, it's very important that you head to this verification window at the very top here, which says verification. This will allow you to gain full access to the server. I'm just going to double check that that is visible within Discord. I don't believe it is. It is not. Okay, brilliant, thank you. So I can now show that. Yes, it is. There we go. So, very important that you complete this verification step in the top left of the server. Just head to that verification window there and press Get Started. You'll be able to go through the entire process of linking your Bookmap account to your Discord account. That will unlock the rest of these channels all the way for you down here. You'll be able to join, for example, the All Markets channel next week with Bruce. You'll be able to join Traders Lab with Tom, where you can see there are traders discussing throughout the entire day here. And then you'll also be able to access our general chat, our Bookmap Academy channels, and of course our education library. And that is it. You are now up and connected to Bookmap and connected into the Discord. So is there any questions that anyone has? Unfortunately, in regards to that question in YouTube, I'm not going to cover that at the moment. So we have a question from James Atkins 4678. What can I ask? What symbol I would need to type in for gold? When inputting, I get the instrument not found. Okay, so for gold, we would need to head to plus. The platform would be Bookmap Data. The type would be futures, because we do not deal with spot gold transactions. The exchange would be COMEX, and then the symbol would be GC. I'm going to assume it's H6. I don't trade gold, so I'm just going to have to double check. GCH6 gold futures, and then we'll press subscribe there. Let's see if that opens up for us. That does not look right for the gold market, so I believe I've taken the incorrect symbol there. So we can head to our help symbols, and we can double check what the correct month is for that. So we have our symbols window here. Let's search for GC. So we have GCNY. So at the moment we are in January, so I'm going to see if F works with that one. But the symbol will be GC letter 6. Apologies as well, I have unfortunately caught this nasty flu that's heading around at the moment, so I'm not completely on point today. That also does not look correct. If you'd like to join us within the Bookmap Discord on the help and support channel, there are many gold traders within there that will help you get that. Unfortunately, as mentioned, I do not trade gold. I only really trade crypto. So if you come into this help and support channel here, just ask within there. One of the moderators will direct you to the current symbol. There are a few that do currently trade gold. I am just unfortunately not one of them. Okay, so no questions within the Discord. I'm just going to grab this over here. I just joined Rhythmic as an add-on. Was this not correct? I'm sorry, James. I'm not completely sure what your question is there. In the exchange, I only have CME for Bookmap data, hence why I joined Rhythmic. Hope you feel better. Oh, thank you very much, James. It's been a bit nasty over the new year for having a cold. So because you're looking for gold, you would not be able to use CME. You need COMEX data for gold. For gold? For gold. For gold is what I've got. So yeah, if you need COMEX data for gold. So if you just message support@bookmap.com, they can get your data subscription sorted out, and they can also point you in the right direction for the symbol. Okay, so we have no questions within Discord at the moment. I'll just give a few more seconds for YouTube questions. Zoom, unfortunately I'm not seeing any questions there at all, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask. I know it says 3 there, but these are just yes for everyone can hear me. So clear those out now. Okay, brilliant. Thanks, James. I hope you have a great day as well. Okay, everyone, I will call it there if we have no further questions. Thanks so much for joining us. As mentioned, if you'd like to join a time zone that's more appropriate for you, Bruce and Brandon both run these sessions later in the week. I may be taking over for Bruce on Friday as well, and I should be in a better state then to be able to answer your questions, so apologies for that one. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, if you have any further questions, please do just head to support@bookmap.com for an email, or within to the Discord and just come into the help support channel. I'm there as well. I'll try and help you if I can. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye.